So Anna has talked extensively about NCRI here, and I'm curious if you can share your recent findings with us. Delve into how Tehran's regime runs its influence campaign against NCRI.
Thanks, Mark. So I want to share the results of my latest research related to the persistent misuse of the community note, and which is basically aimed at discrediting the work of the Iranian American community and the Iranian alternative, that are basically raising awareness about the situation in Iran. Some examples have been recent on the X network, where the Iranian cyber army would target the NCRI. The first one would be the December 7th, 2024, which is a Fox News story based on a bipartisan U.S. Senate briefing focused on U.S. policy on Iran and support for Mayim Rajavi's roadmap for regime change in Iran. And this coverage is expanded to other outlets, and obviously, the Iranian cyber army tried to put community notes on these posts. The second story would be December 19th, 2024, which was a Voice of America report based on another bipartisan House briefing supporting Mayim Rajavi's roadmap for regime change in Iran. Third would be December 30th. The Telegraph published an op-ed by Mayim Rajavi, which faced heavy opposition, not by any serious people, but mostly by bots and Iranian regime cyber army, mainly based in Iran and other places. Another story this year, January 3rd, 2025, a Fox News story on simply execution, which the source was the NCRI, was also came under attack because the information was exposed by Mayim Rajavi's resistance movement. And lastly, there was a high-profile meeting on January 11th with Mayim Rajavi and several key world leaders, including General Keith Kellogg, Trump's next special representative to Ukraine and Russia. And their tweets came under attack and also elicited a response from the Iranian regime's foreign ministry, which essentially shows you that these operations are coming from Tehran itself. So let me explain how Tehran is shifting its focus. The Iranian regime employs two distinct types of proxy forces, each serving its broader strategy for maintaining influence and deflecting internal and external challenges. Its first proxy is the militarized proxy, which Anna talked about and is now weaker than ever thanks to Israel. The second proxy is political forces. Tehran is increasingly leaning on political proxies to manipulate global opinion and suppress movements calling for a secular democratic Iran. Recognizing and exposing these actors' roles is critical for fostering international support for authentic Iranian voices, which are demanding justice and freedom. The regime's focus is now shifting to persistent use of political proxy and fake opposition, especially in the cyberspace. Essentially, people, individuals, and organizations and media entities are trying to aim to protect the regime's interests by essentially masquerading as an opposition. Their objectives are diluting the genuine calls for change. They spread misinformation, confuse international narratives, and try to discredit credible resistance movements such as the NCRI and the MEK. They try to lobby for negotiations and diplomatic engagements and sanctions relief, trying to provide Tehran time to recover and reassert itself and its proxies. Obviously, their message is now falling on deaf ears in all administration, whether Biden or Trump. However, they persist. As you can see in this, let me share this slide with you, which shows actors such as Reza Pahlavi that are used by Tehran's regime. Let me hold this up real quick. So this is an IRGC intelligence organization confidential letter. And in this internal document, we can see a directive from the IRGC intelligence, which is essentially asking their men to promote and defend Reza Pahlavi on social media. And obviously, the people of Iran know Pahlavi has no political credibility. His statements lack solutions, actionable solutions. He essentially propagates monarchist propaganda, which has no place in a future Iran. And the main use of Pahlavi by the IRGC is to distract the world from the true credible alternative, which has been here for 45 years, led by Mrs. Mariam Rajavi. And the regime is clearly using Reza Pahlavi and his name recognition in Washington to push its own narrative. And let me stop sharing. And this is why Washington needs to be very clear on who is the real versus the fake alternative in Tehran. Thank you, Mark.